What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video, continuing the Toronto Maple Leafs 2021 player previews. Now, this one is a guy that you could say was kind of the start of the remake and the restructure, rebuild of this team, and that's Morgan Rielly. And when he got drafted, I'll never forget it. Leading up to that draft, I was hoping the Leafs would have drafted Matt Dumba. Now, I was doing my own, research and stuff like that at the time, and I didn't have as many responsibilities at that time, which is crazy. 2012, it's been so long, but I had a lot more time to research hockey back then, which I wish I could go back and do it all over again. But I really was liking Matt Dumba. I liked Morgan Rielly, but I really liked Matt Dumba. But then when they drafted him and then he came into Toronto and played, I was super excited that he was on my favorite team because Morgan Rielly is a class act. I've met him a couple times. Great hockey player. He does a lot in the community for Toronto. And I just think that this guy is a leader who I thought honestly should have been named the captain before John Tavares. Hell, even before Austin Matthews came to town. So before I go any deeper into this video, make sure to subscribe if you're new. I'd really appreciate that. Been posting a lot of these previews and getting prepared for the season, and hopefully you guys have been enjoying the content, and subscribe for a lot more to do with the Toronto Maple Leafs and other NHL teams, mostly Toronto Maple Leafs content on this channel. Now, let's get into more numbers here. So obviously still young, 26 years old. I think people seem to forget Rielly is definitely not an older guy. He's still 26, fairly young. 6'1", 219 pounds, left-handed shot. I still can't believe this, 7 NHL seasons. The guy is just a tank. But looking at these numbers since he's come in, he's been absolutely amazing for this team. Now, starting in the 17-18 season is when he started to really break out in terms of his offensive capabilities. 52 points in 76 games played. Then his big year in the 18-19 season, he had 72 points in 82 games played, a 20-goal season with 52 assists. I don't think people talk about this enough. I need to go back again and watch the highlights from this season. Morgan Rielly was an absolute beast in the 18-19 season. The 19-20 season, of course, he had some injury trouble and the shortened season. 27 points in 47 games played. Not too shabby. But Morgan Rielly, and again, I hate to do this because I'm trying to be very positive in all these videos. Morgan Rielly has a lot of fans, and so the narrative gets, really clouded when they say, like, this guy is incredible in all assets of the game. He has his troubles defensively. Like, I think a lot of people seem to ignore that him and Jake Gardiner a lot of times were playing similar minutes, and Gardiner was putting up, most times better defensive numbers, even though he had his giveaways, he had his big moments. But they were having similar defensive numbers, and Gardiner was, ripped apart, and Morgan Rielly was, loved by everybody. And like, obviously Gardiner wasn't putting up 72 points, but Gardiner had a couple really good offensive seasons, and Gardiner played on this Leafs team for a long time when they were very bad, like really, really bad. Jake Gardiner was pretty much one of the only bright spots on this team. Nobody complained about him until we got guys that were, the same, if not better than him, and then everybody ran him out of town. It happens. It does happen, but Morgan Rielly is great, but defensively, he hasn't always had a partner either that could really play with him and allow him to do what he does while also having good defensive numbers. Ron Hainsey was like, and I can't believe I'm even saying this, but like, Ron Hainsey was probably one of his better defensive partners that he's ever had, even though that wasn't a great situation still. He's played with Cody Ceci. Like, TJ Brody or Jake Muzzin this year is going to be so much better for him. It's more than likely going to be TJ Brody. Even if it's Dermott or Lehtinen or any, like, if he's getting consistent minutes with guys that aren't named Cody Ceci or Ron Hainsey or any of these guys, or Matt Hunwick, whoever, it's going to be much better. Regardless, one of those guys is going to make Morgan Rielly's life much easier. They're going to allow him to do what he does. They're going to allow him to play defensively. And Morgan Rielly's just a great overall guy in terms of, like I said, the community stuff. I just want to see him succeed. I want him to get the praise that he deserves, but let's, tone it a little bit down when you talk about him as being like some dynamo defensively, because that's not what he is. He's an offensively gifted defenseman that can play decent defensively. So let's look at his cap friendly here. So he is getting paid $5 million. Now, this number looks very nice until he's going to need a contract after the 2021-22 season. This number is going to go from 5 to at least 8. 7.5 to 8 million. Like, this guy's going to get paid a good chunk of change. The only argument I could see the Leafs making is trying to get him around the similar numbers as Jake Muzzin, which isn't going to happen because Muzzin doesn't have the offensive capabilities that Morgan Rielly has. Pardon me if you guys can hear my dog in the background. I can't stop her. She's going to go crazy. Anyways, $5 million, they're not going to be able to get him under 7, in my opinion. I think that number is going to be quite high, but this is a very good contract for what Morgan Rielly gives you on a nightly basis. $5 million. So now your D-core is made up of your top 3 guys: Morgan Rielly, Jake Muzzin, and TJ Brodie. I don't know who you guys would prefer him to play with, but I'm not opposed to trying both of those guys. I do think it's going to be TJ Brodie, but man, there's some weird, like I don't want to say sources because it's not really a source, but like I've listened to a few different broadcasts and, people who are well known in the industry or at least have ties to the industry saying that, Mikko Lehtinen might get a shot with Morgan Rielly if they do believe that he's a top 4 guy and they can just run offensively and just go crazy. Because guys, if you haven't watched Mikko Lehtinen's highlights, he's very offensively gifted, great skater, and they just think, all right, let these guys loose. But I don't think that that's probably the best decision. I think that having Lehtinen play on the second pair or be a very solid third pairing guy is probably what's going to happen. And for the people saying Mikko Lehtinen's not going to make the team, guys, he's going to get minutes. He's signed as the KHL Defenseman of the Year. I'll talk about him in another video, but he's not, like, you don't sign to an NHL team to ride the bench. He got offers from lots of other teams. He's going to get a shot to play with the Toronto Maple Leafs. But getting back to Morgan Rielly, his contract is good. The way he plays is good. It's just he needs that solid D partner that's going to help him, allow him to play his game and make his life easier, quite frankly. So hopefully you guys enjoyed my little preview here for Morgan Rielly. Maybe leave some predictions. Obviously, because it's going to not be a full 82 games, his points might seem a little bit lower, but I mean, I'm excited to see this guy at least get 30, 35 points. And with a team as good as the Toronto Maple Leafs in terms of their offense, he's going to get every opportunity. He's probably still going to be on the power play, whether that's the first or the second unit. I would imagine it's going to be the first. Again, unless Mikko Lehtinen, impresses, because he's real good on the power play. So we'll have to see what happens there. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. I do appreciate you guys as always, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.